G'day everybody. So welcome back to another little bit of a bonus episode, I suppose you could call it. I'm not at home, as you can probably tell. I'm just up the road in the bush. Just needed to get out and stretch my legs and have a little bit of a think. I decided I'd sit down and make a little video, talk about a bit of my future plans with what's going on in my life and Danny's life, and what's going to happen with some of our animals.
G'day, I'm Luke and I'm an avid reptile and amphibian keeper. On my channel you'll see heaps of DIY tutorials, enclosure builds, herping clips and loads more to do with animals. I hope you subscribe for some more animal related content.
So I'm in a little bit of a funny mood. I'm a little bit disappointed, to be honest. Danny and I have just got pre-approval to buy a place, which is awesome. It is really good news. Downside is we've kind of just had our definitely my sort of area ruled out. So I was hoping to actually get a house nearby, but where the houses are is kind of classed as a bit of a rural access type place. So unfortunately the banks won't lend us as much money as what we need. So yeah, I mean, I'm a little bit gutted about that. You know, it would have been a good opportunity for me to be able to have a backyard, you know, rather than just a unit. That kind of goes with the territory of living in Sydney. We're not really able to, well, we're not really in a position to be able to leave Sydney, unfortunately. So, you know, that is what it is. So we've just got to get our foot in the door with a property, and looks like for the time being we'll be going for probably a 2-bedroom apartment, which obviously comes with some restrictions, especially when you're talking about the amount of animals that I have and what I love doing and stuff. So, you know, there's going to be a little bit of a sacrifice that I'm going to have to make with a few of my critters, I'd say, and might have to move a few onto different homes and things like that. So I'm in a little bit of a stressful spot. Yeah, not feeling fantastic, to be honest. I was kind of really, I suppose I had my eyes set on a certain thing, and, you know, whilst it was a bit of a pipe dream, and I know it would have been tough going and a little bit tougher to, you know, get to work on a daily basis and things like that, it was, I was looking at it towards like an adventure and essentially being able to hopefully set myself up in a position to keep all the animals that I've got and, you know, live in the bush essentially. So, yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. So I suppose where I am at the moment, like, I've just got to try to consider, and we haven't even bought a place. We've looked at a few apartments and things like that, but we haven't like locked into anything. So obviously there's a few things that, you know, we might end up in a place that we really like, and it does have a lot of space for everything that I've got going on. But obviously with an apartment, you also get noise restrictions and things like that. So, you know, we own birds as well. So that might be something that we may have to look at a little bit more seriously, as we might not be able to have them. A little bit concerning with some of the frogs too. I mean, a few of my frogs are pretty quiet, so I'm not too concerned about them, but, you know, Perron's tree frogs, for example, can get quite noisy. You know, so who knows, maybe I've got all girls, so I could be really lucky there and, you know, not have any real croaking going on, which would be good. So yeah, there's just a few things to kind of consider, and I suppose my head's just kind of whirling around with all the possibilities that could be or might not be, or, you know, it's just one of those other things that life kind of throws a spanner in the works. So that's okay. You know, that is the adventure we call life. That's the roller coaster. But yeah, I suppose I was under the impression that this would have been a somewhat easier process, should I say, but, you know, it is what it is. Obviously moving into an apartment, I've got to consider some of my big animals. Like Loki takes up a lot of space, and I love him to death, don't get me wrong, I love him to death, but the practicality of him being a water monitor and a very messy water monitor, and you know, the idea of having to do water changes on that big tank of his inside of an apartment, like, it just poses some problems and some questions and stuff like that. So I got to kind of consider that as a, you know, is he going to be comfortable in an apartment? Am I going to be able to look after him properly in an apartment? Like, where he is now, obviously doing a water change is so easy. I've got the hose right there. I can just drain all of his gunk out onto the lawn. It's, you know, it's no effort. But I just don't know how that's going to go in an apartment where I'm obviously going to have, you know, less space for smells and things like that. So it could just be, you know, like, I'm in a kind of a sad spot where I'm in a position where I'm considering that may have to be something that happens, is I may have to get rid of, like, probably my favourite lizard. Yeah, it's tough. It's really tough. And like, at the end of the day, you know, like, whatever happens, I want to bring you guys along for the ride, and it's, you know, I kind of look at it as a bit of a joint adventure in a sense, you know, like, I'm letting you guys into my life and seeing my animals and, you know, talking to me and stuff like that through live streams and stuff like that. Like, I want to be completely open and transparent about everything. So the kind of thought of something like that is really gutting to me. Like my turtles, for example, like, the idea of having to get rid of those little buggers, like, that's something I don't even want to consider. And I don't know, like, obviously it depends on where we end up and stuff like that. You know, if I'm close by to where my father-in-law is, you know, it might be a possibility that I might be able to kind of twist his arm, hopefully, to letting them stay there, and I can come around and, you know, look after them and stuff like that, and it wouldn't be an issue. Because we're, you know, at the end of the day, like, if we're moving into an apartment, like, it's probably only going to be like a 2 to 5 year plan. Because, like, what Danny and I have been talking about, and what I think anyway, is, you know, both of our biological clocks are ticking a little bit. So I know Danny's pretty keen to have a little one. We've got some little nephews now, so, you know, I wouldn't mind my own little snake wrangler. I'd like to become a bit of a proven breeder myself. But, you know, in a 2-bedroom apartment, we'd outgrow that very quickly, especially considering we do have all the animals. Well, what I have now anyway. Yeah, so I'm not really sure what I wanted to do with this video. I think I just wanted to kind of vent to the camera, vent to you guys, and just let you know what's going on inside my head. You know, like, I'm in a bit of a stressful spot. I know that some of the videos and stuff have been, you know, I've kind of missed a few videos here and there recently, and not been on the live streams and stuff. I've had a few things going on personally as well, apart from this. So, you know, I apologise for not being as active as I have been over the last couple of months. I will swing back into it. I just needed a little bit of a breather for a tick. Yeah, it can be very time consuming. So, you know, I don't really want to leave the area that we're in. It's a very beautiful area. Like, as you can see by just being out here in the bush, like, this is 5 minutes from my place now. And I'd like to stay as close to here as we can. I don't really want to move too much into, not suburbia, but, you know, built up areas and stuff like that, but it may just be the case for now. Which could be handy for work. You know, I could be a lot closer to work, which would be fine. But at the same time, like, I like getting out here. I like the peace and quiet, even when it's windy. So yeah, anyway guys, I just wanted to kind of rattle off a bit of an update about what could possibly be going on in the somewhat near future. As I said, we're not locked into anything yet, so it's kind of hard to say what is going to happen, and we might be very lucky. We might end up finding an apartment that's got a massive lock-up garage or something like that, and I can kind of do what I'm doing now and not really have to stress about space, but it's kind of a rare commodity around here, so we'll see what happens. Sorry about that little rant. I just thought I'd fill you guys in, and hopefully I'll be back with something a little bit more positive shortly. Catch you on the next one.